I'm Michael Hudson. Welcome to Michael's Magical Moments Episode 2, a series of videos designed to give you some shortcuts, some tips, some tools, some tactics, and some tricks that you can use to create magical moments in the work that you do. Things that will help you increase your impact, boost your productivity, and reduce your stress. Today's topic is a topic that may be something you can relate to. Have you ever gone to a meeting where you're going to meet a lot of new people? Maybe it's a networking event, maybe it's a speaking event where you're speaking to an audience you haven't met before. Maybe it's a business social function, but somewhere where you're walking into a room and you have that pressure. You know what I'm talking about. It's that pressure of what's my elevator pitch? How do I tell these people what I do? And if you're in the midst of an evolving thing, or if you're one of the people who works in the information space, that's often very hard because you don't know how you can say it in a way that will relate to them. Well, I've learned a process that you can use that will make you the most interesting person in the room. And if you use this, here's what's going to happen. You'll lose all of your concern and worry about what you're going to say, because I'm going to teach you how to shift the focus away from what you're going to say to what people are going to say to you. And when you use this process, this magical thing occurs. People see you as the most interesting person in the room. And I'll teach you why here in just a second. But I want to leave you with this thought before we jump into the content. How would it feel the next time you were in the car driving to one of those networking events to realize that you had no pressure to perform, that you had no reason to impress, that you had the confidence that you knew when you walked in the room, you were going to leave with people knowing you were someone they met, that they liked, that they know very little about, but that knows a lot about them. This technique will teach you how to do that, and trust me, it will make you the most interesting person in the room. Step one is this. Enter the room with one intention. That one intention is ask more questions. When you meet someone, you have the obligatory handshake, I'm so-and-so from such and such, I'm so-and-so from such and such. Immediately ask a question. So, tell me about what you do. Better yet, as you walk up to them, extend your hand, and as the handshake begins, say, hi, so who are you and what's your claim to fame? Now that will be something different than what they're expecting. And they'll immediately begin to tell you about themselves. Now some people will pause at the end of their first little bit and they'll say, so what do you do? My advice, ignore that question. Ask them another question. Say, well, I'll tell you about that later, but right now I'd like to learn more about what you just said. You said you do this. Tell me more about that. Now if you do that, what happens is you begin to learn their story. And that's your goal. Your goal is to have a conversation with them at a deeper level, not the surface conversation. You don't just want that statement they rehearsed in their car on the way to the meeting. You want to get deeper. You really want to start understanding why they do what they do. Why does it matter to them? What's their real passion? Because trust me, everyone you meet has some passion that drives them to do what they do, or drives them to where they're thinking about going so they can do what they want to do. The more you can learn about that story, the better position you gain, because you now become someone who can help them. When you understand their story, you know how you can connect them. And isn't that the real goal of any of those types of settings? To find a way to make connections that you can leverage to help someone else so you can give them value. And then when you do that, what happens? That value gets returned to you. So you've asked questions, you've learned their story, and now it's time for the magic question. You've had a good conversation. And by the way, if you've done this right, you probably haven't said anything about you other than your name. You may have given your business name. And now you turn to what I call the magic question. When you ask this question, you change the conversation. You bring it to a close, you give yourself that transition that you need to move on to meet another person, but you're giving value just by asking the question. And that question is, how would I know someone is the right person for you to meet? Now think about that question for a minute. If you ask me that question, what's going to go through my head as I prepare to answer? I'm going to think about the kinds of people I want to meet who I want to do business with. I'm going to think about the kinds of people that I want to meet because I want to learn from them. I'm going to think about the kinds of people that I want to meet because I know that I have something that will help them. And I'm going to tell you that. Because think about it, most of us like to do what? Talk about ourselves. When the person you've asked this question to answers it, you now have a great deal of information. My advice, take the business card they've just given you, sneak away, jot down some notes so you remember what they just told you, and then leave the meeting. Now you can go back and you have something to follow up on. Now you have a specific way to reach out and give them value. Now you have a way to leverage your network to help them. And the best way to grow your business or increase your impact is to give value first. This approach is all about that. So what's your first step? Very simple. At the next event you attend, ask more questions and say less about yourself. It's that simple. Just enter the room with the intention that I'm going to meet people and ask questions. My goal is to know who they are, what they do, why they do it. I want to learn and understand their story, and I want to walk away knowing who should I refer to them, who are the people I should introduce them to, who in my network of people fits for them and needs to know them. When you do that, you'll be the most interesting person in the room. Okay, it's your turn. Do these ideas resonate with you? Can you use them? Have you experienced this? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and I'd love for you to come back after you've tried it and share your thoughts by posting a comment. If you're not watching this video on my webpage, please go to michaelhudson.com and go to the blog page and post your comment directly below the video. If you find value in this information, please share it on social media, pass it along to colleagues and friends who might benefit. And please take a moment and drop me a line, michael@michaelhudson.com, and let me know what you would like to see me talk about in these episodes that would help you increase your impact, would help you grow your business, would help you become a more effective speaker, coach, or consultant, would help you advance the cause of your nonprofit. Because that's why I'm creating these, so you can put some magical moments into your life that will take your impact to the next level. I'm Michael Hudson. Thanks for watching.